Hello friends, it's Kat from Meow Kapow. When I sat down to write the script for this video, I had absolutely no idea what to talk about. The art I'm making here is the first pattern that was devised in a method that I think works best out of the tactics I tried, but I didn't film it with the thought of a tutorial in mind, I just filmed it as though it were art. It totally is just art, and I'm honestly ridiculously in love with this pattern and lust over all the Redbubble merch with these super cool skulls, but that doesn't really help me with trying to teach y'all how and why to use this method. So let's talk about visual storytelling and why going in with a plan matters. I've been running this YouTube channel for over 2 years now and learned a few things here and there about basic filmmaking ideas, I guess. And after writing over 100 scripts and a whole gosh darn book, I may have learned a thing about storytelling too. A lot of people I meet tend to think in words and are great verbal communicators. You've likely got a voice in your head that says whatever you're reading and probably even says what you're thinking. You may devise a plan of action by having a mental conversation with that voice, or might actually think before you speak because you can do the same. For me, I do have a reading voice, but almost all of my thoughts happen in picture form. This means that I often struggle in person to say things that even a little bit make sense, but the things I'm thinking are usually beautiful. They're tiny movies that play out in my mind anytime I consider something, and over the years they've become more advanced. What might have started out as a thought about someone cutting a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in half with a knife may now be transformed into a much more dramatic scene. It's dark. The power in the house is dead as a storm rages outside. Lightning flashes, illuminating a towering, knife-wielding figure as they raise the blade above their head, ready to strike. We're looking up at them, close and personal as the tip of the knife is aimed straight at us. Tense musical chords shoot off, amping up the stress of this moment. Then the lights all come back on at once. We zoom out to find that we're in a lovely, clean kitchen with sparkling white countertops. There's simply a young girl with a butter knife, a smudge of peanut butter on her cheek as she inexpertly slices her sandwich in half. If you were able to imagine it the way I described, do you see how a change in angles and lighting and coloration can completely change how a story is told? This may seem weird, but the movies in my head have gotten way more complex since starting this channel. I've realized that every video has a story to tell on its own, but if you have a story that you want a video to tell, you need to plan ahead. You have to consider camera angles, lighting, pacing of shots and movement, and what plot points and props you think need to be highlighted. In that small sandwich example, if it had just been flatly told as the power is out and a young girl makes a sandwich in the dark, the power comes back on, it wouldn't have had the same impact. There isn't the drama of the stormy night, there isn't the building terror that we're about to witness a murder up close and personal, and there isn't the silly and calming ending of it all just being a sandwich. So what I'm saying is that while I could totally use the footage in this video to teach y'all how to make a repeating pattern by hand, it won't have the same impact as if I go in with that intent while filming. I can control the angles, the information, what details you're given a better look at, and the pacing of how the instructions are given. Because even though most wouldn't think of a tutorial as storytelling, it really is. You're giving your students a beginning, a world where they're in darkness while lightning flashes and they've got little to no idea about what's going on. A middle, where they start to learn a new skill and it may feel a bit like being in a nightmare at first. And an ending, where the lights switch on in their head and they suddenly realize there was nothing to be nervous about after all. They can totally learn this new skill. So, I'm currently in the process of filming the tutorial you deserve. In the meantime, I'll leave you to fantasies of visual storytelling with extreme angles and dramatic lighting, and a debate over what the best way to make pb&j is. Me? I'm all in on raspberry jam, crunchy peanut butter, wheat bread, and a diagonal cut. I'm also a heathen and will totally eat the end pieces of a loaf of bread, which I've been informed makes me officially a nutter. Oh, and for those curious about the materials, they're always listed in the doobly-doo down below. And there's usually a link or two in the iCards if anything's been reviewed before. Until I see you next time, I wish you peace, love, and sandwiches. Bye!